Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to talk about the deck that I brought for regionals here in Winnipeg. I piloted Dragonmaid Dracotail. It is something that I really enjoy. I debated to play Dinomorphia in regionals, but then lo and behold, all my packages came and I got all the cards that I needed. So yeah, changed my mind. Practice in locals, literally just the one night of practice to see how the deck works, and lucky enough, it was really easy to learn, but I'm sure there are a lot of things that I need to improve on. But without further ado, we'll start with the main deck. I'm going to talk about the Dragonmaid engine by showing 3 copies of Chamber Dragonmaid, 3 copies of Parlor, and then 1 of each of their dragon form. There's nothing to explain here, or to and tell you guys why I play these 3. I just think, in my opinion, that having these 3 in my deck are really good. They're really powerful normal summons, because Chamber searches for your spell traps for Dragonmaids, add them to your hand from the deck, and Parlor allows you to dump Dragonmaid cards from your deck to the graveyard. Really good cards, especially if you have either 1 copy of Parlor or 1 copy of Chamber on hand. These cards essentially just allow you to summon ladies and the seals on board. And if you don't have Dracotail cards in your hand, these cards are also your field is enough to be strong with interruptions, and then you'll have an Omni-Negate on your opponent's turn. Really good. I could reduce my numbers with Chamber and Parlor to 2 of each instead of 3, but from my testing, these have been really good at 3, but maybe down the line I'll change it in the future. And then just the 1 copy of their dragon form. Really, there's nothing else to say here. You don't really need to play more than 1, just because these are targets for your ladies Dragonmaid, or vice versa. If this is on your hand and you have Hospitality, you just use Hospitality, summon this card, then dump one of their human forms, then start summoning ladies by banishing them. So yeah, nothing else there to say. Next up, 3 copies of Hospitality, 1 copy of Changeover, and then 2 copies of Tiding. Same thing with the Dragonmaid package for the normal summons. This can be reduced to 1. I already reduced it to 2 because I used to play 3. So this here being Tiding being at 2 is good, just because you don't really use this to set and use this card to bounce. Normally, what you do is you just dump this via Parlor to essentially just make your board a little bit harder to break, or just have more bodies on the board. So yeah, nothing to explain here. This card's just good for being dumped from the deck to the graveyard. And Changeover, don't really need to play more than 1. 1 is enough on its own, just because with the Dracotel package, Phimina is a really good card. If you have 3 of those and this, you essentially have 4 fusions, fusion spells. And then Dracotail, or Rahu Dracotail and Ketu Dracotail are +3 each. So you essentially have what? 12 or 11 can't count right now because my math is so bad. But don't really need to play changeover more than 1. If this gets banished, you don't care. Just use Femina. And then for hospitality, thinking of reducing this as well to 2. But just because this is just a brick in your hand if you don't have any Dragonmaids with it. So this is better off to being searched by changeover, or not changeover, chamber, sorry. And yeah, I don't know what to replace this card for, maybe a 3rd Femina, but yeah. Next up are the Dracotel cards. We play 3 copies of Lucius, 2 copies of Femina, 2 copies of Malulu, 2 copies of Orgula, and 1 copy of Pan. To explain the other 3, like Lucius, the 3 copies of Lucius here, these are your normal summons to search for a Dracotel card, monster specifically, and if this was used for a fusion material, you could set a Dracotail spell trap from your deck to the field. Really good. Preferably to play at 3. Really glad that the mail came in and I got to play them like a week before regionals. You don't really need to play this at 2. Preferably there's at 3 because these are your searchers. So really good. I like Lucius. Lucius has been like clutch for some of my games. And yeah. And then I play 2 copies of Femina. Really unfortunate that I couldn't get a 3rd copy. And I only got the 1. But after the tournament, one of the vendors was selling a Femina, and I had to get one, so I can play 3. So maybe I can reduce some of my Dragonmaid cards to 2 instead of a playset. Maybe Hospitality, just because Hospitality is a dead card in hand, but Femina is just a really good card, just because she is a discard quick effect from hand fusion summon, fusion summon by using materials to use as materials from hand or field. I'm starting here, sorry. But yeah, I'd like to play this card at 3, preferably at 3. And then same thing with the other with Lucius. If she was used as a fusion material, she could set a spell trap Dracotail card from the deck to the field. That's still like one of the themes that these Dragontails have, that they are essentially just allow you to set your spell traps on the field right away, which is cool. You don't have to search them as much. 3 copies of Mulu. I've also debated playing this at 3, but I think I feel comfortable playing it at 2. I'm still on the experimental side with the deck, but 2 has been like really good for me. But for Malulu, I think this is your by far best normal summon. You could say Lucius is good too. You could search Femina, but Malulu allows you to fusion summon while it's on the field. And same thing, it searches for a spell trap from your deck and set it to the field. Really cool card. Maybe down the line I'll play 3, but 2 has been really good for me. I like to make space for other normal summons. Maybe I'll reduce Parlor or Chamber to 2. And I play 2 copies of Orgula. Orgula is also really good. It's really hard to normal summon this, but if it was used as a fusion material, I could set a Dracotail spell trap from the deck. Then I could destroy a spell trap on the field. So it can be mine or it can be my opponent's. So this also has a good synergy with Tiding. Let's say if I set Tiding and then pop it with Orgula, I can then use Tiding's graveyard effect by banishing it to special summon a Dragonmaid monster from either graveyard or hand, which is really cool. There's a little synergy here. And then if this card is in my graveyard, I get to target a spellcaster Dracotail monster in my graveyard, place Orgula at the bottom of my deck. If I do, I get to add that monster to my hand. really cool. You could recycle Lucius or Phimina, preferably Phimina, just because she is your quick effect fusion summon. So really cool. I like this card a lot. Really helpful for like clutch situations. No, not clutch situations, but like recycling Phimina. I like Urgula. Probably play that too. You could try playing it 1, but I think 2 is just better, just in case that card gets banished. And then 1 copy of Drakotel Pan. He's the same as Urgula, but instead of popping spell traps, it pops a monster on the field. Really neat. And in a face-up, fusion monster is destroyed by my opponent's card effect while this card is in my graveyard. I get to place this card at the bottom of my deck, and if I do, special summon 1 non-fusion Dracotail monster from my graveyard. So you can essentially bring back Malulu if you want, or Lucius to grab your Phimina in deck. Really neat card. I could also play this set 2 and reduce the numbers of like Dragonmaid normal summons or whatever Dragonmaid cards that I have, and have played this set 2, just because you get to recycle your Dracotail non-fusion monsters, which is neat. I like it, but for now I'll play it as 1. For the spells and traps, I play 3 copies of Keto Dragotail, 3 copies of Rahu, 1 copy of Horn, and 1 copy of Flame. Flame is your spell negate, and if I have a Dracotail card from my graveyard to banish, I get to return that card at the bottom of my deck. Then I can draw a card, which is pretty neat. Same thing as Horn, but instead of negate spells, it returns attacking position monsters on the field that my opponent controls. Well, it doesn't even have to be my opponent controls, just 1 attacking monsters, either hand or extra deck. Then, same with the last thing for Flame, get to return a Dracotail card from either banish or graveyard, then get to draw a card. Really neat, really helpful. I do enjoy being able to bounce cards instead of negating. It's another form of like interruption that this deck has. And then Rahu Dracotail, this is just your branded fusion, but at 3. Really, really good. But one of the hindrances of this card that you will be stuck doing fusions for the rest of the turn. So when you're doing your Dragonmaid combos, make sure to do your seals. And then if this is in your hand, then you can just go for it, just because Arthalion is a really good card. And then Keto Dracotail is also one of your best spells. I debated playing this at 2, but then just changed my mind and played it at 3 by reducing the tiding package to 2 and put this at 3. It adds a Dracotail monster from my deck to hand, and if my opponent controls a monster, I get to fusion summon, which is this is neat because it's like your polymerization. So really cool card. Dracotail is also just really good going second, just because Keto Dracotail is another form of fusion, like a fusion spell. Really neat. And then for the non-engine, I play 1 copy of Called By, 1 copy of Triple Tactics talent, just in case if there's an Ash or what other interruptions that my opponent controls, I play 1 copy of Called By. And then Triple Tactics is also good if, again, same thing with Called By, if I get Ashed, I get to either draw a card, or look at my opponent's hand, choose 1 card from their hand, and return it to the deck shuffled, and then, or take control of a monster until the end phase. Really neat. There's nothing else to explain here. These cards are just really powerful. Kind of wish this was at 2 by now, but here we are. So, and then for the hand traps, we play 3 copies of Charmy, 3 copies of Runlock, 2 copies of Nib, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and 1 copy of Magna Hut. To give this a short explanation, searches for a dragon card from my deck and add it to my hand during the end phase. Pretty good. I like it. Effect Veiler is just here because I play Spirit of the Eyes of Blue. And I do have a lot of spellcasters in my deck, so I might as well just have like other ways to summon the Aspirated Eyes of Blue. Plus, it's not a once per turn negate, so if you use Femina and use this card as a material, you just, or if you use this card before, based on the materials that you use from hand, you can just grab 2 of your effect pillars again and just have more ways to interrupt your opponent, which is really neat. 2 copies of Nib. I don't really want to play 3. I think 2 is enough for the map, because this card is just when my opponent makes a really good board, have ways to interrupt. And then the Jewels and the Molcharmies. I debated changing this to Ash, but in my regionals there were a lot of people who were adding cards a lot, and when I shotgun the Jewel, they just stop like their combos here and there. So I like it, being able to stop your opponent from adding cards, or it's just really good. I need to remember to when you Molcharmy, don't chain Drool, because it also stops you from adding cards from your deck. So debating to just change it to Ash, but Drool has been really helpful for me, and so far there was no issues with it. And then Fualos is Fualos. There's nothing, it's just your Maxi, there's nothing else to say. And that's pretty much for the main deck. I play 45 cards in the main. If you can play 40, that's also good, but I enjoy playing 45. I think it gives me more cards to play around with. So yeah, and now we'll go to the extra deck. For the extra deck, we'll start with the links. Spirit with the Eyes of Blue, and 1 copy of Erratic Seals of Heavenly Spheres. You can play 2 copies of Seals. I don't think that would be a bad idea. I just play 1 because I could just recycle this via Arthalon. Same with Spirit Eyes of Blue. But realistically, you don't need to play another copy of this just because he is just there for the Link 1. And then Seals is just a really good Dragon Link. And for the Dragonmaid package or fusions, we play 2 copies of House, 2 copies of Shao, and 2 copies of Ladies. I think this is just the right ratio for Dragonmaid fusions to play. You need 2 copies of House so that you can keep bouncing Shao from after using a negate, and Ladies just in case one of the cards gets banished, you get to summon another one next turn, or however you're gonna summon it. But yeah, this is just your big dude with a Anomaly negate, really good card. And then House is just your another beat stick, not as big as Shao, but she is there to whenever a dragon card returns to your hand, she gets to pop a monster in the field, or pop opponent's monster in the field, sorry. So really good. It's another way to like screw over your opponent by popping their monsters. Play that at 2, and then 1 copy of Philia Regis, and then 1 copy of Chaos Star Source Dragon. This is just an unintentional Dragonmaid support. This also function as Mirror Jade, which is pretty neat. And when this card is destroyed by card effects, or actually no, if this card is in my graveyard, just in my graveyard, I get to special summon or return a dragon monster I control to the hand or extra deck, and if I do, special summon this card back. So it's just another way to like recycle. Really neat. Not as it's not Mirror Jade where it's like a board wipe after, but it summons itself back, which is really cool. Chaos Star Source Dragon. I debated playing Borreload. One of the Borreload dragons, or Borreload Savage. One of the fusion Borreload dragons. I just think that this card is pretty neat, just because I get to target my opponent. Target cards my opponent controls up to the light and dark monsters used as material. I get to just destroy them, which is pretty cool. So, just another way to like destroy my opponent's card based on the material. It functions the same thing as the Borreload Fusion Dragon, but Borreload Furious Dragon. There we go. But instead of like popping itself, I get to pop just my opponent card's control. Really neat. And then for the Dracotail, we play 2 copies of Arthalion, and then 2 copies, not 1. 2 copies of Gulamel. Arthalion's really good just to recycle cards from the graveyard based on the materials used from hand. I can also just pick cards from my opponent's field or graveyard to like return them to hand, which is pretty neat. And then if 2 or more monsters were sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card's in my graveyard, I can just special summon this card back, but banish it after it's like removed from the field. So really cool. Play this at 2. If you're playing just pure Dragotail, play it at 3, because Arthalion is just your big body and a really powerful card. Gulamel, I wish I summoned more often, but I didn't, which is kind of sad. So when you activate a Dracotel card or effect, you can target 1 card of your opponent control, destroy it. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card's in the graveyard, special summon this card back, but banish it when it leaves the field. So essentially, you can pop a card in your opponent's field, which is pretty neat. I kind of wish I used this card more often, but I didn't, just because I was just stuck using Arthalion, and I thought Arthalion was just the better option. But I wish I used this more often. So, never underestimate this card. This card is really good. Play it at 2. Again, if you're playing pure, play at 3. And then, the one card I kind of want to just replace, Mysterion the Dragon Crown. There were a lot of mirror match at my regionals that I kind of wish I used this card to like essentially just screw them over, but I didn't. I might replace this for the better one, but for now I'm just using this to essentially just just screw over my opponent for other Dracotail matchup. So what this card does, it loses 100 attack for each banished card, so it can be yours or your opponent's. But if a monster uses activate effect to special summon itself or monsters with the same original type, I get to target one of those special summoned monsters, banish that monster, also banish all monsters from the field with the same original type. So let's say if I say dragon, I get to banish all dragons on the field, or even like on the field, which is pretty neat because there is Arthalion. You just remove their Arthalion and get it over with. Or if they have like Dragoon or the Gulamel, just remove those cards from the field, and it's also non-targeting, so pretty neat. Oh well, target one of those special summon monsters. Sorry, but the banish is not. Pretty cool. I could be wrong, but I might replace it for something else. And that's pretty much it for the main deck. Side deck don't really matter as much. I play one copy of Jerusalem, might replace that. For the Malice matchup, we have Artifact. I play, and then there's the 3 Ash. Then one copy of Perulia. 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More if we're going second. 1 copy of Feather Duster for back rows. 2 copies of Lightning Storm for back row removal and monsters on the field. Then 1 copy of Evenly Matched, where I will bump this to 2, but I can't find it. But for now, Jerusalem stays while Evenly Matched is at 1. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck list. I will make a separate video for experience on regionals. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.